Hello, and welcome to our Spotlight on Nursing event. I want to thank RBC Future Launch for helping us to power our Spotlight on Careers event. I want to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory and homeland of the Métis. We welcome students, parents, and teachers from across Saskatchewan who are joining us tonight. For the past 2 decades, the Saskatoon Industry Education Council has bridged the gap between Saskatchewan school systems and employers, providing experiential learning and career development opportunities for Saskatoon and area youth. With COVID, we've been able to open up our programming, and we now welcome students from across the province. So if you're joining us anywhere other than Saskatoon and surrounding area, thank you for being part of our event tonight. As a registered nonprofit organization, the SIEC works in partnership with the 3 school divisions in and around Saskatoon, as well as the Saskatoon Tribal Council and community-based organizations in partnership with government agencies and employers to help nurture the workforce of tomorrow. Last year, the SIEC worked with 30,000 youth, over 3,300 business and post-secondary representatives, and more than 45 educators and career practitioners. Every year, the SIEC hosts over 40 programs and events, including our Spotlight on Careers, which are the events you're attending tonight, which is a series of target events providing students with experiential learning opportunities. Our Skills Boot Camps, which provides students with hands-on experience in various careers. Our Connected event, which is a women mentorship program connecting females in grades 10 through 12 with mentors from a wide variety of sectors in and around Saskatoon. And this event is actually happening next Thursday, and it is open to students in grades 10 through 12, any student who identifies as a female, and it is open to students across the province because it is virtual. The Summer Youth Internship Program is a 6-week paid internship where students gain work experience in construction, manufacturing, automotive, and culinary industries. And through our SYIP program, students earn both competitive wages as well as high school credit. So please visit our website or follow us on our social media to stay up to date with our program offerings. At the SIEC, we feel it's just as important to figure out what you don't want to do after high school as it is to figure out what you do want to do as a career. So if you're not sure what you want to do after high school, then be sure to attend some of our events to explore some different career pathways. I want to thank our post-secondary reps who are here tonight to join or to share some very important information about their program. So if you're joining us tonight as a student, you're probably interested in pursuing a career in nursing. And so hopefully our representatives can answer some questions about their program. And so we do encourage you to use the Q&A function throughout the event tonight. If you have a general question, you can enter it in there, but if you do have a question specifically for one of the presenters, then feel free to specify in your question who that question is for, and we will look to get it answered throughout the night. So we are going to get started with our first presenter of the evening. And Lauren Garner, is joining us tonight from the Saskatchewan Health Authority. So Lauren has been working with the Saskatchewan Health Authority for 5 years. She's currently a workforce planning and employment specialist and supports acute care, Saskatoon and health information management, and privacy. Since its inception, Lauren has been involved with the nursing panel and is excited to speak to you about the Saskatchewan Health Authority. So we've been very fortunate to partner with Lauren over the years for our nursing-related career exploration programs, and we're happy to have her here tonight. So I will pass it over to Lauren.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to those joining us tonight and those that will be watching this recording in the future. As Michelle stated, I'm Lauren, and I work in human resources in the Department of Workforce Planning and Employment with the Saskatchewan Health Authority. Part of my role is to recruit the next generation of healthcare workers. We are always excited to share information about the occupations in healthcare and we hope that today helps you make informed decisions about your career path. Nurses are involved in all aspects of a patient's healthcare journey. COVID has impacted our work environment and has showcased the essential and versatile role of nursing professionals. One of our staff, Erin Ermel, an LPN from Regina, in a series of stories called Faces of the Fight, stated, "When you become a nurse, you sign up for exactly what we've been doing this past year. Every single time you go to work, the disease or illness itself isn't what matters. What matters to us is helping our patients." I think that's what I want people to understand most, is that we aren't heroes. This is what we do. It is what we've always done. When considering a healthcare profession, keep in mind that you don't get to choose the clients you serve, that people are sick all the time and nurses need to work on nights and on Christmas. You will have to complete continuing education yearly to maintain licensure. You will work with bodily fluids and viruses. There are significant physical demands that go along with being a nurse, and you will have a code of ethics that you're accountable to as a professional. You will also have the ability to travel as a professional. You may choose to specialize, whether it be in long-term care, the operating room, serving people in the community, working with the sickest in intensive care, or being part of bringing life into the world in maternal services. In any environment you choose to work in, you will be part of an interprofessional team and will have the ability to make a difference in people's lives. The Saskatchewan Health Authority is not the only employer of nurses in Saskatchewan. However, we are the largest employer. We employ approximately 44,000 people in a wide range of occupations to care for the people of Saskatchewan. It's important that we have strong interprofessional teams working together to have healthy people and a healthy Saskatchewan. Of our teams, the largest occupational group is nursing. I know we have some people joining us from around the province today. However, as Michelle mentioned, I am from Saskatoon, so the following information is specific for our former Saskatoon Health Region. And there are three main nursing professions I would like to note tonight. The first is continuing care aides. We employ approximately 2,500 continuing care aides, or CCAs. Their starting wage today is $22.72. CCAs aid in the care of patients. They mobilize them, dress, feed, and bathe patients. And often nursing students choose to work as CCAs while they're in school and over the summers. The next group I would like to mention is LPNs, also known as licensed practical nurses. We employ 820 LPNs. Their starting wage today is $35.45. They work in long-term care and in hospital, but they don't work in critical care areas like the ICU. The last group I'd like to note is registered nurses, also known as RNs. We employ 3,200 RNs. Their starting wage today is $37.08. RNs work in all facilities, including ICU and critical care. They often also take leadership roles in our units and in our programs. The Saskatchewan Health Authority is a unionized employer, which means there are specific rules beyond labor law that govern the employment of our staff. The foundations for unions is seniority, which drives the selection for jobs and shifts to be picked up and worked. It also creates standardization across the authority in terms of wage and benefits. An additional consideration is the benefits that your employer offers. The SHA has a pension plan where the employer contributes 112% of the employee's contribution, annual paid vacation, disability, a health plan paid 100% by the employer, which includes dental, vision, and drug coverage. There's always something new going on in healthcare, whether it be opening a hospital or handling a global pandemic. So there's a constant demand for workers, which means good job security, as well as very competitive wages and benefits. There are so many different streams and opportunities within healthcare that I hope in the future you will get to explore. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Lauren, tonight and sharing that information with us. And so we are going to move on now with our post-secondary representatives joining us. So first off, we are going to hear from Sheena Kabatov. So Sheena is the office administrator for the Saskatchewan Collaborative Bachelor of Science in Nursing program in Saskatoon at the Sask Polytechnic campus. She holds a degree in adult education and has been with the program for close to 8 years. Along with presenting at career fairs, she coordinates the student mentorship program, plans events, and organizes the learning and teaching experiences for all 700 students and 70 faculty at the SCBSN program. Her holistic and inclusive perspectives on adult education and life in general inform her practice, and she can be found volunteering her time both at work and in her community. When she's not volunteering or working, she is kept very busy by her 6 daughters. She loves gardening, DIY projects, and church. So please welcome Sheena, who is going to speak to both the registered nurse and the LPN program at Saskatchewan Polytechnic. And I'm told this is her second career fair of the day, so I'm sure she has some great information to share. So Sheena, it's all yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. So yeah, as Michelle said, this is my second career fair of the day. So maybe some of you have seen me already. We had our Sask Polytech open house earlier. So like Michelle said, I'm going to be speaking to both the practical nurse program and the registered nurse program at Sask Polytech. I'm going to start with the LPN program. I have some presentations and videos for each, but we'll start with practical nursing. So I'm just going to share my screen here and share some sound too. Okay, so Saskatchewan Polytechnic School of Nursing actually has 18 different nursing programs. As high school students or students coming in to get your first set of credentials, 3 of the nursing programs would interest you. So practical nursing, registered nursing, and registered psychiatric nursing. I don't have a psych nursing presentation, so I'm sorry about that, but we'll just go through practical nursing program first. So this program prepares students to become eligible for, to become a licensed practical nurse in Saskatchewan. The practical nursing program is approved by CELPN, so the Saskatchewan Association of Licensed Practical Nurses, and meets Canadian Association of Licensed Practical Nurses national standards. So what that means is both of these governing bodies backs our program and backs our graduates. So with this practical nurse program, you can be a licensed practical nurse anywhere in Canada. So these are our admission requirements. Grade 12 minimum overall average of 65 in the 5 following subject areas. So English A30 and B30, foundations or pre-calculus, not both, but we'll take the higher of the 2 if you are, if you did take both. 1 social 30, history 30, or native studies 30, and 1 bio 30, chem 30, or physics 30. So just to be clear, average is based on these classes only, not your 99% in band or drama or anything like that. It has to be in these subjects. So the practical nurse program is competitive entry. So that means we only accept students with the highest averages. Again, I said high school average is calculated based on those subjects. Additional points may be awarded for relevant post-secondary education. So what that means is if you are taking the Health Academy through Bishop James Mahoney and have taken some of those A&P courses already, those are like those marks are looked at and could boost your chances of getting into the program. There are 28 to 30 full-time seats here in Saskatoon, and the intake is every fall. We say 28 to 30 because it really based on clinical placement and how many students might have dropped out the year before. This is just in Saskatoon. I'll just mention that our practical nurse program is brokered throughout the entire province in multiple different regional colleges, like say in Yorkton or North Battleford or Swift Current, all of these different smaller regions do have our program. They are taught by that regional college, but your designation is provided by Saskatchewan Polytechnic. I'm sorry, I can't see the questions, so I'll try to answer them after I'm done my presentation, or if any one of the panelists wants to go ahead and try to answer them for me, that would be great. So we are just going to watch this quick YouTube video. I will mention that this YouTube video was made for the Practical Nurse program, but these are the same facilities that you would be practicing in when you are enrolled in any one of our nursing programs.
Well, I like the small class size. I love the nursing instructors. They really helped guide me to become a successful practical nurse. The labs really helped transition me from being in the classroom setting to real life scenarios in the healthcare settings.
All of our faculty have recent, relevant experience in the clinical environment. Our program is 68 weeks long, and of that, over half of it, the learning takes place in the lab and clinical environment. So there's certainly a strong theoretical component, but it's very hands-on as well.
The skills have been everywhere from hand washing to catheter insertion all the way to injections. So it's been great to work side by side. Real nurses that have been in that clinical setting, and this is their career. And even so with these skills, we've been also learning therapeutic relationships. So really getting competent in our nursing, as well as doing well with our therapeutic relationships with our patients, which is also very important to be caring and competent.
The job opportunities available to students upon graduation are in long-term care, home care, acute medicine and surgery, and pediatrics in the obstetrics unit.
Well, the Saskatchewan Polytechnic students always come to us well prepared. They come with a good understanding of the work that's required, and we as an employer have the opportunity to provide input into changing trends in our environment. And so we do discuss with them what our requirements are in the workplace, and they try and match their program to make sure they're on top of keeping up with our needs.
The practical nursing program is really great. We have top-notch instructors and the greatest place to really vitalize our skills, and it's just, yeah, it's a great place to be.
Okay, so that is it for the practical nursing program. I'll just move over to our registered nurse program. So this is the program. Oh,
we do have a question, and maybe before you switch over, I'll get you to answer it if you can. So it says, if you go to a French immersion high school, could you use that 30 level class instead of an English?
I'm going to say yes. I'm not 100% certain, but if you want, I will put my email address in the chat when I am done presenting. You can shoot me an email and I will find out for you 100%, but I'm going to say yes, because I mean, the French or English, like it's an equivalent, right? So it should be fine, but yeah, email me and I will give you a 100% for sure answer tomorrow. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. Okay, so the SCBSEN program is the program that I work for, and should you come into our program, trust me that SCBSEN will roll off your tongue by the end of your 4th year. It is a tongue twister, and it did take me a while. So, okay, so our program is a collaboration between the University of Regina and Saskatchewan Polytechnic. So here in Saskatoon, you will be taking classes at Sask Polytech, Saskatoon main campus. The majority of your courses will be taught by either a Sask Polytech instructor or a U of R instructor. Kind of depends on the course that you're taking, or the courses that you're taking, and just the luck of the draw kind of thing. This presentation, I'm gonna go through some information about the program, pros and cons about our program. And yeah, our program is proudly delivered on both Treaty 4 and Treaty 6 territory. and traditional homeland of the Métis people. I mean, feel free to ask questions again while I go through my presentation, and I'll try to ask them as we go, or answer them as we go. Yeah, so just the facts. So before I begin, I just want to let you guys know we work very closely with our colleagues at the U of S, and the programs delivered are the same program, right? Like you're both, like, regardless of what institution you go to, you come out with the same education. The difference between the two programs is going to be how they're delivered. So the U of S has their way of delivering the program, and we have our way of delivering the program. And I'm gonna kind of tell you the things that are different at our program. So when you complete our program, sorry, I just need to get this out of my way. It's in my way. When you complete our program, you will graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. So this degree trains you to be a registered nurse, take the NCLEX exam, and register to practice as a registered nurse in Saskatchewan. The program is delivered in 2 locations. Saskatoon campus accepts 150 students each year, and Regina campus accepts 187 students each year. Our program is competitive and has direct entry. So most nursing programs across the province, and I say most because there is the psych nursing and the practical nurse program as well, are competitive entry. So again, I kind of explained it a little bit in my previous presentation. What that means is you only get admitted into the program on your marks, okay? For our program, there's no reference letter you can submit. There's no letter to the dean you can write to like boast about all of the great things you've done in high school to boost your efforts of being accepted. So the best thing that you guys can do is to get as good of grades in high school as you possibly can. Just an FYI, the last year's average to get into the program was 92.1%. Okay, and we'll talk about high school requirements in a couple minutes. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to go back. Talking about direct entry. We are the only direct entry nursing degree program in Saskatchewan. So this is one of the differences that I was telling you guys about. So what this means is that by applying into our program, you are fully accepted into the nursing stream, okay? You don't have to take a year of arts and science first and then apply to get into nursing, okay? So like I said, this is one of the differences between the two registered nurse programs. So how I kind of explain this to students is, okay, so you're getting ready to go to university and you haven't quite, do I want to go into nursing or do I want to go like into kinesiology, right? So what I would tell a student if they're kind of on the fence about which program to take, I say, go to the U of S, take your first year of arts and science. That gives you another year to figure it out, okay? And then you apply into whatever college that you want to at the U of S. But say you have known ever since you were a little kid that you wanted to be a nurse and help people and deliver babies or whatever. You knew this, you knew that nursing was your calling. Apply to our program and you are going to be doing and learning about the nursing practices right from day one, okay? So hands-on clinical practice in first year and practice education in every single semester. So like I said, being direct entry, you will have a clinical experience or what we call practice education in every semester of your degree. So you will have patients and clients every term, practicing and perfecting those skills that you learn in the classroom and lab with clients and patients. So our strong focus on practice education is achieved by working together with those partners in the community and the local health authority throughout your whole degree. Also, just to let you know, we do value our global international experiences, which could be available to you in the future. So we do have a third year and a fourth year placement, one in India, one in Mexico. So those are well, I mean, I suppose once COVID is over, those might be available to you guys again. Okay, simulation labs. So we kind of saw a little bit about simulation labs in the practical nurse video. And as you can see in this picture on my screen, this is our simulation lab. These are past students. They are in our hospital unit doing what nursing students do, preparing, getting ready to go into their simulation lab experiences. So we are equipped with state-of-the-art simulation technology and computerized mannequins that can be programmed to have many different medical conditions and responses. They have different heartbeats, breathing sounds, gut sounds. They have pulses, they blink, they move their arms and legs. Some even give birth, right? We do have one of those. She's awesome. These mannequins can die, but then they can come back to life. So this is the perfect patient for you guys to be practicing on before you're starting to practice these skills on real people. Fast track options. So this is another one of those differences between our program and the program at the U of S. So our program allows students to fast track their education if they choose, okay? So what this means is that a student can apply to take courses over 1 or 2 summers to complete their degree in 3 or 3.5 years. A regular degree takes 4 years to finish, okay? So what's super awesome about this, two things. Actually more than 2 things, a couple things. So the health authority really likes this about our program. Lauren actually emails me every once in a while saying, hey, I need some graduates, send me a list of names. It does happen. So so this benefits graduates in 2 different ways. First, when they graduate in August or December, they're not competing for positions with all of the other graduates from our program and from the U of S who all exit out into society in the spring, right? And it's my understanding that December is kind of the time when that the Saskatchewan Health Authority has all their retirements. So that December exit group, there's quite a few jobs that are available there in December. So yeah, there is that. And lastly, our program is provincially and nationally accredited. So we are happy to boast that we have received full accreditation from both, oh, sorry, and I didn't update this from this afternoon. The SRNA now has a new name and I can't remember what it is. I think it's CRAN, I can't remember. Anyways, I'm sorry. And the Canadian Association of Schools of Nursing through CASN. So what this means is with our degree, you can apply to be a nurse really anywhere in the world. And both organizations will vouch for our program and our students. So here are those high school requirements. So English A30 and B30, foundations, math or pre-calculus, biology 30, and chemistry 30. So again, with the maths, we'll take the highest of the 2 if you did take both, but you don't have to take both, okay? Again, the average is calculated on these 5 courses, not any of your other high school courses. If for, like, say you're in grade 12 right now and you have already applied, you're going to be applying with your grade 11 marks. So, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. But we still need you to take these classes in grade 12, and we still need you to get at least 70% on these courses. So just to give you a scenario, say you've been conditionally accepted into the program and you take biology 30 in term 2, or I guess it would be quarter 3 or 4, whatever. And say you get a 68, your seat will be given to the next person. Okay, so even though you are accepted into the program or conditionally accepted, you still have to meet these requirements, because these are the 5 classes that will help you when you get into our program, okay? We do use content from these classes to scaffold off of. Yeah, I think that's it. So this is just a slide about applying to the program. So right now applications are open to grade 12 students or students who maybe have finished high school previously, and they close on February 15th. If you submit your application February 16th, your application will not be accepted. Transcripts must be sent in twice. There are absolutely no exceptions for late documents. So if you miss a deadline, you'll have to wait till next year to apply again. We do need transcripts twice. So March 1st for Q1 and 2, and then August 1st for the remainder of your grade 12 transcripts. Acceptance emails do start coming in spring of 2022, and you do have 30 days to accept your spot. Otherwise, it will be given to somebody else. There will be a waiting list. We usually get about 1,300 applicants for the 300 and some seats that we do have. So we do have a wait list. The wait list will close in September, and then you're welcome to apply to next year. Or what you can do is you can take a couple of arts and science classes and then apply next year as a post-secondary student. If this is an option for you, if you feel like taking some university classes in the meantime, make sure that you touch base with one of our academic advisors so that we can make sure that you're taking the right courses. You can apply online or in paper, but I'll just let you know that if you show up to Sask Polytech and apply by paper, it's an extra $25. But I mean, I don't expect any of you guys to be applying on paper anymore. So once you're admitted into the program, there are a couple of other things that we need you to do, like go get a criminal record check, do your CPR, your WMIS, learn about TLR. But I'll just let you know, please don't run out and go and get these right away, because we need them to be dated within your cohort year. So 2022, we will need these to be dated for. So yeah, like I said, don't go run out and get them. Sorry, I'm trying to run through this fast because I think I don't have enough time. So this is the slide that parents like to see. So just an FYI, costs about $8,000 a year for tuition. Books, uniforms, and other supplies, about $2,000 for the first year, and then $1,000 for each additional year. I think that $1,000 each additional year is kind of steep. Because I mean, if you take care of your shoes and your scrubs and your stethoscope, you won't need to replace them, right? So that's just an approximation. Just take care of your stuff and you shouldn't have to replace. An electronic mobile device, so or your phone, right? Like your iPhone or your Android. We do have apps that our students use when they're on the ward to do research, and we have a faculty member who has developed an app that you guys do use. And then this is another thing that's super awesome about our program is students in our program are eligible to apply for both scholarships and awards from both institutions. Okay, so I mean, it's free money. Sometimes applications do take some time, but your parents will quite like it if you apply for scholarships and bursaries. So you have double available to you through both Sask Polytech and the University of Regina. Another thing I just want to touch on, sure, it's all well and good to have a part-time job while you are in university, but I just let you know that nursing is a very demanding program. You will be required to be available from 7 to 4:30 Monday to Friday, and there could be 8 to 12-hour clinical days that could happen on evenings and weekends. So, I mean, we don't recommend that you guys have a part-time job, but I mean, some people have to make it work, right? So I get that. Just going to quickly go through what to expect in your first year or in your years of being within our program. So just because we are direct entry, we do still have to put those arts and science courses somewhere, right? So the majority of them will be in year 1 and 2, and then you will take electives in year 3 and 4. So that's like your anatomy and physiology, your English, your Indigenous health studies. But like I said, there's those practice education experiences starting right in first year. So the first semester, you're going to be in the community. The second semester, you're going to be in long-term care. Year 2 is what our students call the hard year. Again, some of those arts and science classes like microbiology and statistics But then we're going to start getting into pharmacology, counseling, assessment, research. And then you're going to have 2 13-week experiences starting in at the hospitals, one of the 3 hospitals in the city. Third year is the fun year. So we do have some online courses that you do take during your 6-week clinical experiences. We do 6 weeks of pediatrics, obstetrics and gynecology, mental health, and advanced acute care. So like neurology, oncology, cardiology, those more advanced placements that you have to build up to. Boy, I'm going to lose my voice tonight, guys. In 4th year, you're going to be taking some of these online courses again, but then you're going to take a 13-week community placement. And then your focus, practice, and transitions to practice. This is what's called your preceptorship. Sorry. Where you'll be working with a registered nurse, seeing her patients, doing her experiences. Sorry. Well, it's a good thing I'm done. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and visit our website. Sorry, it's been a day.
All right, well, thank you, Sheena. We do have a few questions. So this one, someone asked, before the robotic patients, what did you use to practice on?
I mean, each other, right? Some of your nursing faculty will tell you that they learned how to insert IVs on each other. I'm not a nurse, I'm an educator. I hear all the horror stories, so you guys are lucky.
There was a question, I don't see it anymore, but someone had asked, and I was going to answer, but I didn't want to answer wrong. Refresh my memory, how many are accepted at the Saskatoon campus and how many are accepted in the Regina campus?
Yeah, 150 in Saskatoon. Sorry guys, 187 in Regina.
Okay. Do the acceptance letters for the bilingual nursing program also get sent out in the spring?
Yes. They are reviewed, so I'm assuming that's the same student who asked the bilingual question before. Lucky you if you're in Saskatoon. We're going to be offering the bilingual program in Saskatoon as well. So still email me, I'll send you some information.
We have another question. Are there equity seats? If so, how many are available?
Yes, 100%. There are equity seats. That's a good question. I think 73. But those seats are across the program. So some in Regina, some in Saskatoon.
Somebody asked, going back to the LPN course, is that also direct entry or just competitive entry?
Two totally different things, but direct entry, because you're going to be, because it's only a 2-year program, you're only doing nursing classes. You don't have like English or the biology classes are threaded in there.
Okay. And do you offer your program in Prince Albert at all?
So the practical nurse program is offered in PA, but not the registered nurse program. However, the registered nurse program has those preceptorships throughout the province, right? So if you're from PA, you can go back to PA for your registered nurse preceptorship in the 4th.
And this is the last question, and then we will let you try to regain your voice and calm your cough. Is it possible to use the nursing degree to apply for physical therapy and/or medicine?
Yes. I mean, physical therapy, that's a kinesiology degree. You can always transfer into any degree you want. A lot of programs have second degree options. And then in medicine, we do have quite a few students who use their RN degree to get into medicine, but Again, that's very competitive and you have to have very high marks. But yes, absolutely, your registered nurse degree can get you into those master's programs and PhD programs.
And I'll just add to what Sheena said. I know from presentations we've had from the College of Medicine, they do have a lot of students who apply with a nursing degree. The biggest thing to consider though is the actual classes, because there are some prerequisite classes you need for medicine. So you just want to always cross-reference to make sure. So nursing is an option as a degree to apply for medicine, but you still do want to check with the program. So thank you so much, Sheena, for joining us. And we are going to continue on with our presentation. So next up, we have our presenters from the University of Saskatchewan College of Nursing. And so we have Gina and Sheila joining us. So Gina Diapollo is new to the role of academic and UCAN student advisor in the College of Nursing and works to assist students with applications, requirements, and other transitional support. She has an extensive background working with international students at the University of Saskatchewan. And Sheila, also joining us from the U of S, is a registered nurse of 38 years. She's worked in many different areas, including acute care, intensive care, primary health care, and as a clinical instructor. And most recently, she's worked as an academic advisor at the College of Nursing for the past 9 years. So Gina is going to share about their admissions process at the U of S, and then Sheila will answer any questions that students may have about a career in nursing. But before I pass it over to Gina and Sheila, our team at the SIEC decided to take a little trip to the University of Saskatchewan to see what it's like to be a nursing student. So we have a short video for you to watch. And one thing I do want to note is there are some still photos in the video, and those were shared with us from the University of Saskatchewan, and they were taken before COVID. So that's why there may be some students working without masks on.
Thank you, Michelle, for that great virtual tour. My name is Gina DePaulo, so I am with the University of Saskatchewan. So I'll be doing the presentation tonight, and I have Sheila Watts with me as well. She has many years of experience as a registered nurse and at the U of S as a student advisor too. So she knows a lot about our programs. So she's here to help me by answering any questions and just adding some of her knowledge to my presentation. So I'm just going to share my screen, and I'm just going to set myself a timer. So thank you all for coming to learn more about the University of Saskatchewan and nursing in general and the University of Saskatchewan program. The University of Saskatchewan is a medical doctoral university. So as you may have noticed in the video, there was the interprofessional learning commons. So that is one part of our program that's really interesting. We are connected with the university hospital and with the medical doctoral students and the physical therapy students. So our students do work in that interprofessional setting, which is kind of unique about the U of S. And nursing is just a challenging and rewarding profession with local and global opportunities, kind of as Lauren had stated. A lot of our graduates as well are registered nurses and accredited in Saskatchewan and Canada, and you can even be accredited globally coming out of the University of Saskatchewan program. Come on. Oh, sorry, I'm not sure why it's not. Oh, there we go. So sorry, it wasn't moving for me. Acceptance into the Bachelor of Science in Nursing program. So we are a non-direct entry program. So you can't apply directly to nursing. So what you do is you apply to arts and science for your first year. And that's called your pre-professional year. And following that, you apply to the College of Nursing for the remainder of the 3 years, which equals to 4 years in the BSN program. So the entry into nursing is competitive, and it is based on the calculated average of the pre-professional years. Did I? Oh, no, I didn't. The pre-professional classes. So those pre-professional classes are weighted at 60% for the admissions average. And we've recently included this test of situational judgment, and that is worth 40% in your admissions requirement. So this test is, I'll talk a little more about it, but the suggested pre-professional average that you would be aiming for in that year of arts and science is 75 to 80%. And that we also have a competitive entry, and it depends on the site and the year. So it really depends on who applies and what their averages are. But you should be aiming for 75 to 80% in your pre-professional year of classes in arts and science. So it's really important that you take the right classes when you get into arts and science. And these are really foundational classes for many other degrees as well. So they are foundational for the nursing degree. And as you can see, you need English 3 credit units, Indigenous Studies, Biology 120, Chem 120, Statistics, Nutrition, Psychology, Social Science, and you can take 6 credit units of electives of your choice. So this gives you a good sense of what it's like to study at university. And you can also join a a learning community for nursing for that pre-professional year. So this is a cohort of students that get into the same sections of those classes so that they can support each other in their learning, and you know, they end up having some workshops and some presentations. So that's a good option at the U of S, is that we have this learning communities that you can join for that pre-professional year in the College of Arts and Science. A little bit more about the test of situational judgment. So what we found is in our program that, you know, marks are important and the academics are so important, but we also have a practical component of our program that goes throughout the nursing program. Just like the Sask Polytech University of Regina program, there's an emphasis on practical skills and being able to practice the skills that you're learning as you go through your program. So this test of situational judgment, it must be taken during the admissions year when you apply to nursing. So you don't have to worry about it right now. But it's really looking at your skills in dealing with complex situations and how you respond to these, how you process, how you think critically, how you weigh different options. And what we found is that this situational judgment and some of these personal qualities and characteristics are important to the profession. So we've included that in our admissions, and you would develop these skills along with you in your nursing degree. Sometimes students are looking, you know, you may have take some of the pre-professional year, maybe you don't get the best marks. So ways to increase your average is to possibly take the same class, take those classes over more than 1 year. So it's a full load for the pre-professional year, 30 credit units of arts and science, but you can spread that out over more than 1 year if you would like to kind of make sure that you get the average you need to apply into nursing. You can also retake a class if you don't get the mark that's required. You can take a different class that meets the requirements for that pre-professional class, or you can also take an upper level class that has that foundational class as a prerequisite. So there's a little bit of flexibility in how you complete those pre-professional classes, how much time you take and how you do those classes. And it's really designed to prepare you for the nursing program, because it is tough, and you need to be a dedicated student with very good study skills. And so this pre-professional year is meant to kind of prepare you for the learning environment in nursing. The U of S offers many different supports and resources through student learning services, tutoring and study groups. You can work with the advisors in strategically choosing your courses just to make sure that you get the best average that you can to apply into nursing. The application for nursing, the deadline is March 31st of each year, and 295 students are admitted into the BSN program per year. And I don't know if, is that, and you would apply to the College of Nursing while you're completing your pre-professional year. We are also starting a post-degree BSN option. So if you have a university degree or you work on a university degree, you can also apply for the post-degree option, but that has been postponed until May 2023. Some of the other admission requirements for the nursing program are you may have to provide English language proficiency. If you are of Indigenous or Métis ancestry, you can provide that documentation because we do have some equity seats for Indigenous and Métis students. You would also submit transcripts from any other institutions for admission into nursing. Of course, when you're applying to the arts and science program, you would be submitting your high school transcripts for that. And June 1st is the documents deadline for admissions. So it's the March 31st and June 1st is the documents deadline. And that is for admissions for the fall term. And we're looking into fall of 2022. So as you noticed on the video, we had Michelle and her team come to the U of S campus right in Saskatoon, which is such a beautiful campus. I'm kind of partial. I really enjoy and love the University of Saskatchewan campus in Saskatoon, but we also distribute our course to multiple sites in Saskatchewan. So you can do the complete degree either right in Saskatoon. You can complete it in Regina, in Prince Albert, in Yorkton, and also La Ronge and Isle La Crosse. We also have campuses there. So at each of our campuses, you can complete the full degree program. And each of the campuses has a slightly different admissions average as well. So depending on the community that you're in, you can remain with, study from home or learn where you live. And just a little map here that shows the different campuses that our program is distributed to. And we have services and supports in all of those different campuses. There was a question earlier with Sheena's presentation about equity seats. The University of Saskatchewan, actually, Indigenous Studies is one of our signature research areas, which is quite interesting for our university. And in the College of Nursing, we have the U of S Community of Aboriginal Nursing Program. So we have 16.6% of our seats are equity seats. We are actually above that at this time with, I believe, 20% of our seats as Indigenous or Métis students. So with this program, we offer some additional supports and retention services for Indigenous students. So of course, the equity seats, academic and personal advising, tutoring and sort of community building, mentorship, and culturally appropriate counseling. The U of S also has a wonderful Indigenous Student Center that does a lot of different supports and events for Indigenous students. So it's quite a welcoming campus and a great community for Indigenous and Métis students at the U of S. And I just love this picture of the campus. That's our main campus at the Saskatoon campus, the bowl, and the teepees set up all around it. And they haven't done that for a while. And I wish they would do it again, because I just love when they put the teepees up in the bowl like that. It's just to really make such a beautiful atmosphere there and welcoming atmosphere. So a bit about how the course is organized once you get into the nursing program. So in your year 2 and year 3, you will study from September to June. So it's kind of an extended an extended term. So you do fall term, winter term, and then spring term in those first 2 years of nursing. Then in year 4, your term goes from September to April. In each year of study, that you'll have a number of theory classes, and those theory classes you'll take alongside your labs and your clinical experiential classes. So they're quite intricately linked. We also have the CLRC, which is a simulation lab. So right from the beginning of your time in nursing, you're involved with labs, simulations, and involved in clinical environments. And you get to experience a number of different clinical environments. So for example, there's a mental health placement, pediatrics and obstetrics, community health, and high acuity nursing. So you get to experience a lot of different possible placements. And I think this helps you in your future trying to decide what types of jobs or what might interest you in the future as you progress through your career as a nurse. We also offer at least one rural placement. And what we find is that rural nursing is very, very unique in Saskatchewan. As a rural nurse, I've seen some presentations where they just talk about how they get to do everything, and every day is very different. I can't do that right now. So this is kind of, people are a bit apprehensive at first to go into the rural setting, but they come back from it and that's where they want to work. So that's a really great experience for you in your training as a nurse. Sheila, do you have anything to add about the, I love when you tell us how many hours that they spend in the clinical labs, because I can never remember all those numbers. Are you there, Sheila?
Oh, yes, I am.
Thank you.
So students will spend, probably both programs are quite similar because both programs are approved by the Saskatchewan Registered Nurses Association, or the College of Registered Nurses of Saskatchewan, I think is the new name. We have about 96 hours of simulation over the course of year 3. So that's when students will spend several hours in a simulated environment so that they can practice changing skills as the situation becomes more complex. And over the course of the 3 years in nursing, students spend about 1,400 hours in the clinical setting. So, starting in year 2 in term 1, and then moving all the way through, right through to every term except for term 2 of year 2, they'll be in clinical.
Thank you, Sheila. Sorry for putting you on the spot there. So just some mention of some of the career opportunities in nursing, and Sheila has a lot of experience in nursing. So if you want to put her on the spot again and ask her questions, I'm sure she wouldn't mind. So there's opportunities in community and public health, pediatrics, NICU, street nursing, surgical nursing, nurse educator, clinical instructors, forensic nursing, labor and delivery, traveling internationally. It's recognized globally, school nurse, nurse practitioner, and lastly, research. And at the U of S, we actually have a master's program in nursing. So there's so much interesting research being done by our faculty at the U of S. And, if you're interested in continuing on into, a leadership role in nursing, or just expanding your your academic side in nursing, that's also an option through our program, as we do have a master's program in nursing at the U of S. So lots of really great opportunities once you graduate as a nurse. I hope this is in keeping with what Lauren was saying, but I had these, this is from the Saskatchewan Union of Nurses as of 2017. So starting wage for a general duty nurse, $35.99 per hour. And with experience, that wage goes up. So it is, you know, a rewarding career, not only monetarily, but it's also rewarding in terms of the role you play in people's lives. Nurses are, you know, there for us, for many people at those critical moments in life, you know, when you have a baby, when you know, when you're sick, or if you have an emergency, or you have a parent that's sick. I know that my experience in healthcare or being at the hospital, I always remember the nurses and how they spoke to me, how they interacted with me, and how professional they are. So it's a really great career that you can get into. So lastly, I just, we have advisors at each of our campus that work with students to, you know, answer questions, help you plan your pre-professional year, make sure you're taking the right classes, help you with applications and those processes. So at the Saskatoon campus, it's myself and Sheila Watts. In Prince Albert, we have Kathleen McMullen and Stephanie Beauchez. And in the Regina campus, we have Diana Sharp and Stephanie as well. But as you can see, we can all be reached at the same undergrad nursing.advising@usask.ca. And we answer all our emails every single day in the morning. So if you have any further questions, you can give us an email. And that's all that I have to present for this evening. I guess we also had one video from our CLRC, but I'm not sure that we have any more time for that. I guess I see a question. I guess it's time for question and answers. And so perhaps I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll give it back over to Michelle, because now's the time you can ask anybody questions. Sheila, Sheena, myself, and even Lauren, I think you can ask her questions as well. Michelle, can they ask you questions too?
They can ask me questions. I don't know if I'll be able to answer it if it's about nursing, but you can try. All right, so thank you, Gina, Sheena, and Sheila for being part of our presentation tonight. I have a question here that says, is biomedical science good to take for the pre-professional year? So Gina, I think that one is for you.
Well, you wouldn't take it in your pre-professional year. You would only take the classes that are on that pre-professional year course list. And if when you apply to arts and science, you speak with an advisor to make sure we'll send you that list of courses. Biomedical science, you might take it, say you're going to take your pre-professional year over 2 years. In that case, you could then take biomedical science, and there's a couple of other classes that can transfer into nursing when you do move to nursing. So there are some classes that you can take before you get into nursing that are still within arts and science, but then can transfer into your into nursing credits once you move.
All right, thank you, Gina. There was one question earlier on that I really liked, because it's a question that we get a lot from high school students. and it was answered just in the Q&A, but I'm just going to bring it up because I really enjoyed it. So it said, I hope this isn't a dumb question, but why do you have to take history for nursing? And so we hear that a lot of times from students. Why do I have to take English? Why do I have to take history? Or those types of things when going into a particular program. And Gina answered that and said most post-secondary programs do require an English and a social science to give students a broad educational experience. So Sheena, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe students in your program would also have to take some of those prerequisites as well that would fall more into the arts and science.
Yeah, so we aren't asking you to take those courses just because, right? Like the courses that we say that we want you to be doing well in, we build off those courses, just like how your pre-year or year one is going to build into year two, it's going to build into year three. We ask you to take English because we're going to teach you a university English. We ask you to take history because we're going to be teaching you Indigenous health studies, right? So, I mean, we're not asking you to do it just because, right? Like everything that we do within our programs, it's based on sound research and how each program scaffolds into the next course, right? So.
All right, well, it looks like our Q&A is answered. I did see in the chat that Lauren had put those updated wages for nurses. So you can feel free to check that out. And then also an email will be going out to thank you for attending our event. And in that email, I'm going to include Gina and Sheena's email addresses. So if you do have any specific questions for either of them about their programs, I know Sheena had a couple questions today that she wasn't 100% sure on. So in that case, if you do have a question or a question you didn't want to ask, then reach out to them. That's what they're there for, is to help you as you do explore these different career options. So thank you, Gina, Sheena, Sheila, and Lauren for joining us tonight. And as always, it is a pleasure to work with you. So before everyone logs off and leaves us for the night, I do have one last thing I want to share with you. So first off, thank you to our panelists who are here tonight sharing their information. Thank you to Lauren from SHA. They're a fantastic partner of ours, and we're very fortunate to be able to work with them for events like this. Thank you to Sask Polytechnic, the U of S, and the U of R for partnering with us to present this information. And thank you to our partner school divisions, Saskatoon Public Schools, Saskatoon Catholic Schools, Prairie Spirit School Division, and the Saskatoon Tribal Council, who are all supporters of the SIEC. Thank you to my colleagues. My colleague Erin is in the background, making sure everything runs smoothly. So thank you to them for always supporting with these events. And finally, thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight to hear our speaker's presentation. And thank you to anyone who's watching this video recorded. I hope this information was informative for you as you explore future careers. So very important for us is feedback. Let us know what you thought of our event tonight. We use this information moving forward. Before COVID, we used to host these events in person, and hopefully one day we'll all get back to those in-person events. But for now, we're going to host these events virtually to still get this information out to you. So let us know what you thought. Let us know what we could do different in the future and provide some feedback. And you never know, you might win a gift card. So here is a QR code for students to provide feedback. Oops, I clicked too far. And then if you are a teacher watching this either live tonight or watching with your students the recorded video, please provide us with your feedback of what you thought, if this was a good career exploration event for you with your students. And we do have some other events coming up for healthcare. So this was our Spotlight on Healthcare month. Yesterday, we hosted a live event with a scientific researcher who won the Gairdner Award this past year. And so she shared her career journey in cancer research. So that is available on our website. We also have other online resources available. We have an interview with a dentist and an orthodontist. So maybe you're looking at healthcare, but other areas of healthcare. We have our nursing career panel as well from last year, which highlighted people in various areas of the nursing field, and they shared their stories. So you can check out that video as well. And then we had our physicians career panel, which we hosted last year, and it shared information from professionals in the industry, as well as the College of Medicine talking about their entrance requirements. So check out those resources on our video. And then tomorrow we have our spotlight on medical diagnostics, which will be a similar event to this. We're partnering with the Saskatchewan Health Authority, Saskatchewan Polytechnic to talk about their medical diagnostic programs, as well as industry professionals sharing their careers. So if you haven't registered for that one, you can, and be sure to check out our website for other resources in healthcare. And maybe today you realized healthcare or nursing isn't for you. We do highlight different sectors every month. So this was our first Spotlight on Careers month, but as you can see on the calendar, we have 7 more months of programming like this coming up. So next month we are looking at manufacturing and mining, and moving forward we will highlight different careers. So stay tuned to what we have to offer, because maybe there's something else out there that would interest you. And the best way to stay up to date is to follow us on our social media. So give us a follow. We put all of our upcoming programming information on there, so you can see what we have going on as well. Be sure to always check out our website for upcoming programs and to access those previous resources that we have either from this year or from past years. So thank you again to our panelists. Thank you for everyone for joining us this evening, and we hope to see you at some of our events